Pour a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, put a show on for the kids. I want to chat with you for a few minutes. I've gotten quite a few emails recently from desperate homeschool moms, moms that are communicating to me that they hate being a homeschool mom. And so I wanted to come on and give you my best tips, tricks, and advice for when you hit that wall as a homeschool mom, because we all get there at least once in our homeschool career where we're overwhelmed, we're overworked, we're surrounded by chaos and confusion, and we just feel like nothing we do is right. So I put together some slides just so that I will stay on track, because this is one of those conversations that I could easily talk all day long about. But my battery is not going to let me do that today. And it's urgent. So if you're a homeschool mom and if you've ever hit that place of overwhelm, if you are in that place of overwhelm, let me start right now by saying you can reach me at abetterwaytohomeschool@gmail.com, and we can try to flesh out some of the things that you're struggling with. I'm not a counselor, I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a mom of 5 that is homeschooled for over 25 years, and most days I'm still smiling. So let's talk about this. Okay, I'm going to go through these are in no particular order, just as they came off my head, as I was thinking in response to an email that I received today. So the very first thing that I want you to know is that if you're overwhelmed and you're hating your life as a homeschool mom right this second, you're not alone. You're not unique. You're not odd. You're not weird. You're not different. All of us at some point in time hit our heads against the wall and we feel like utter failures, like nothing we do is good enough, nothing we do is right, the house is a mess, the kids are out of control, we're not touching any curriculum, the kids aren't learning, we're having to order pizza or make chicken nuggets at the end of the day, and we just feel like nothing that we do is enough. And I want you to know that you're not alone. We all feel that way at one point or another. Some of us, if we're surrounded by a lot of kids or a lot of chaos or a lot of confusion or a lot of life, we feel that overwhelm even more than the gal next door. So just know that you're not unique and alone. I'm going to encourage you that when you're feeling overwhelmed, you need to start pushing pause buttons all over the place. One of the things that I think is kind of stereotypical of homeschool moms that I have known over the last 25 years is that we are yes women. Can you serve in the ministry on Sunday? Yes. Can you bring me a meal? Yes. Can you feed the dog? Yes. Can you go do this? Yes. Just start pushing the pause button on anything that is over and above what is necessary for you to function in that day, because overwhelm creates more overwhelm. Chaos creates more chaos. So start pushing the pause buttons on things. Don't hide in a hole. That is not what I'm saying. Do not hide in a hole or a closet unless the kids are occupied and there's Oreos, and then hide in the closet. But don't pull away from society. Just start unchecking from things so that you can start to simplify your schedule. Because a lot of times when moms hate homeschooling, it's because life and chaos has crept in, and those things that are good have suppressed, squished, or kicked the best right in the face. So we want to push aside the things that are not necessary and start to find the core, the gold, the reason that we're actually homeschooling our kids. The very first thing, and I might say that a couple times because I'm going to lose track of my thought. One of the best things that you can do as a homeschool mom that's overwhelmed is simplify your food. Breakfast and lunch and probably snacks. Throw variety out the window and start doing rinse repeat meals for breakfast, lunch, and snacks. Do you hear me? Streamline your food. In our house, that meant we went from cereal, bacon and toast, breakfast burritos, oatmeal, omelets, straight down to oatmeal with fixings. And I remember the drama when the kids realized that I meant it, that they were only going to have oatmeal. And the first couple days are kind of a train wreck, and the kids kind of grumbled and complained, but they survived. And then it became a non. Food was to fuel their body and to help them get through the day. And that lack of variety helped simplify things. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's better for your body if we don't have all this variety that we Americans are so used to. We're so used to. We don't just have toast. We have toast with nut butters on them. We have toast with jams. We have toast with cinnamon sugar. We have toast with honey. We have toast with avocado. You don't need all that variety. So streamline your meals in the simplest way possible because it will help remove some of the overwhelm in your life. So in the course of my homeschooling career, we've done this many times where we've taken chaos and confusion, and then the first place we start is food. We always go back to oatmeal because it's cheaper, and it's all of the kids have been able to make oatmeal since they were about 5 or 6, depending on how good they were with the stove. Because I had 5 kids, we always had an older kid helping a younger kid, but we would do oatmeal for a season. Sometimes it was boxed cereal for a season. The point with the breakfast meal is that the kids were in charge of the meal. The kids were taught how to serve themselves breakfast and then clean up and be done. And we would practice what the timeline would be like. So we did oatmeal for breakfast or boxed cereal. And then for lunch, we would do, and it depended on the season. Sometimes it was always leftovers. There was a season that we did, I made pinto beans and made my own refried beans, and the kids would have beans and tortillas with some cheese for lunch. And that was a cheap, inexpensive meal, super easy to make. And if you need a recipe, let me know. I never had beans until I married my husband, and he just loves beans. His mom is full Mexican, and they come from like the whole Apache line in the Native American. And so she was big on homemade tortillas and homemade beans. So I learned how to do that. So streamline your meals. That will help simplify your life so much when you're overwhelmed. This one, stop storing dirty laundry. This one was revolutionary for me. When I heard this, who did I even hear it from? It may have been what's her name? J Mel, the mom of Minnie. It may have been her. It was somebody like her. I had Googled house organizational tips for moms of many or something. And what this meant was I took every laundry hamper in the house away except one. And dirty laundry went into that hamper and it would get washed. I took the hampers out of all the boys' bedrooms, out of the bathrooms. And because what was happening was that dirty laundry, it starts to grow fingers. It just grows and it just becomes like the troll under the bridge with the billy goat scruff. And you can smell it from 12 miles away. It's terrible. When I went down to one laundry basket, I suddenly was able to keep on top of the laundry. So streamline your laundry. Now we're talking homeschool, but so far we've talked about food and laundry. Those are the things that really give us fits as homeschool parents, because you can handle teaching math for 5 minutes or half an hour or an hour, but then suddenly you have to make meals and you have to deal with the laundry. And so this becomes a big challenge. When you're overwhelmed and you're in that season of nothing feels like it's working, nothing is in control, I'm going to encourage you to take all of your curriculum, anything that looks like school, and hide it. Put it in the cabinets and put a timer on it that you will not open that cabinet for at least and then fill in that blank. Minimum a week, a month is better. Just hide the curriculum from overwhelm so that hide the curriculum when you're in that state of overwhelm because it nags at you. It kind of mocks you like a heckler in an audience for some musical theater performance. And then I'm going to encourage you to go to the library. Go to the library and talk to the librarian and ask them how many picture books are you allowed to check out at any one given time. And she's going to tell you at the library, when I did this with my kids, the limit was 30. And each of my children had library cards. And so we would go to the library with a rolling cart, and each of the kids would hand pick picture books from the library. And we would go home with 100 picture books. And I taught the kids that there was a specific place in the house that they would be stored. And we did zero school in times of overwhelm. We did zero curriculum in times of overwhelm, but we read library books. And during this season of feeling like a lousy homeschool mom, what I was looking for was the light bulb to come on in the kids' eyes. When they're reading and they get sucked into a story like about Vikings. And so as they're asking me to read the same story over and over again, then we start playing with, are there any projects that we can make that go with it, or etc. You just start to lean into things, but it all begins with this stack of library books. And I say library books because I never had a big homeschool budget. I never had a big teaching budget. And I always leaned on my local library. And then when the kids really fell in love with the book, which because they check it back out over and over again, then I would add it to our library. So hide your curriculum and go to the library and check out as many picture books as you can. Keep them safe in the house so that you don't end up with a terrible library fine. Teach your littles how to handle library books, and then just enjoy reading for the sake of reading. And then you're watching your kids to see what types of things do they lean into. If your kids are resistant to you anytime that you go, oh, it looks like you might be interested in math. There's a calculator. And then they run away. If they do that, then what you do is you strew the books around the house. And that's where you take library books and you just set them on the windowsill, and then you ignore them and you leave them like library displays around your house. And then you just go about your normal business. You cook, you do the laundry, you pet the dog, you nurse the baby, you do whatever. And you will find after a day or 5 that the kids will be drawn to a book and they'll start to look at it. Don't pounce when they start to look at it. See if they look at it and see if they linger. Then you can go get more. And the best is when they bring it to you and they say, can you do this with me? Can you read this to me? Then you know that you have a potential topic for you to lean into. So remember, you're not unique and alone if you hit this spot that you feel like, I hate being a homeschool mom. What you hate is chaos. What you hate is confusion. What you hate is having a schedule that's so full and that you don't have time to breathe. You don't have time to love on your kids and love on your husband and love on your neighbors because you're so overwhelmed trying to check off the boxes from your curriculum. So hide the curriculum. Go to the library. This one right here, you may not be married. I have been married now 33 years, and my love language is words of encouragement. I know, go figure. It's words. I love to talk. I love to encourage people. I love to pray for people. I love to write secret notes to people. My husband is physical touch. And that's not just because he's a guy, but he is a physical touch kind of guy. And so one of the best things that you can do if you're married and your hubby is anywhere within reach is hug him 10 times a day. Now, I'm just going to lean in and you're going to say, Bekki, if I hug him, you know what's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you, of course, because if your husband is like most husbands out there, he's starving for attention and affection. And you have to remember that men express love in ways that are it's very physical, and that's okay. So you hug them many, many, many times during the day. You hold tight and you squeeze them. You rub their hand, you rub their feet, you rub their back, and you let them know that you love and respect them. Why? Because there's chemicals that are released when you touch. A lot of times as moms, we get our fix and fill by hugging and loving on our kids. But those kids are going to grow up and move away. I can tell you, I've got one that's packing to leave in less than a month right now. And you're going to find yourself in a position like me, if you're blessed and lucky, to be married to someone that still likes you, that you still love, that you still like. And so make sure that you are expressing yourself in a way that they receive affection. Turn off the little voice inside your head that's saying, but what about me? What about my needs? How I'm going to wait until he fulfills what I need. And I'm going to tell you that after 33 years of marriage, that's not a successful train of thought. The successful train of thought is, how can I love him? How can I serve him? How can I bless him? And then it comes back. It's like a boomerang, and it will bless your socks off in ways that you cannot comprehend. So hug your husband 10 times a day, 20 times a day, and just deal with it. Like just deal with all the wonderful things that are going to happen. It's wonderful, and it's not something that should be avoided. Okay, overwhelmed as a homeschool mom, hating the journey of a homeschool mom, pick a weird project. This is a super fun one. One of the things that 2 of my kids are married now, and we do all these weird and wacky text messages within the family. Well, I started a thread with the girls because this is how girls came into my life. They're getting married to my sons as my sons are growing up. So at this current time, I have 2 wonderful, beautiful daughter-in-laws. And I opened up a special text thread just between the 3 of us right now that is dedicated to all things beautiful and all things wonderful and all things lovely and pure and kind. And one of the things that I look for when I'm out and about walking are flowers. Beautiful flowers. So you can pick a topic to learn about just for fun. And I did a quick Google, plants that look like Dr. Seuss created them. And there's all kinds of weird and funky plants. But it made me giggle because that purple flower I had seen when I was on a walk about 2 weeks ago, and I sent that picture, a picture of those flowers, to my girls, and I said, "Look, it looks like Dr. Seuss. It looks like Dr. Seuss invented this one." Let's see if I can find it real quick, because proof. You need to know that what I'm saying is true, right? True and lovely Sailor girls, because just flowers and beautiful. You're like, "Bekki, it's okay, move on." This is not the same one, but I send them pictures of beautiful flowers all the time. So when you are looking for something that you can learn about with your kids, choose something that's wacky and just off the charts. Nothing that you would find in traditional curriculum. It could be studying the herbs of the Bible, or what kind of animals fart, or whatever it is your kids would love to learn about, and then learn about this topic with them. So pick a topic to learn about just for fun, and then lean into it. YouTube videos, National Geographic type videos, go to the library and check out books, and just have fun learning just for the sake of learning. The big one is that a lot of times homeschool moms hate their life because their life is out of order. And I spelled routine wrong. So I'm going to go in here right now and I am going to fix it, because somebody's going to say, "You can't even spell, so why would you homeschool your kids?" Routine, order, and chaos. The biggest reason why moms hate homeschooling is because they don't have the reins in their hands. Their babies under 5 don't have any ebb and flow to the energy in their day. There's no naps woven in. There's no rest times woven in. The big kids are just kind of sprawled all over the place. There's no chore system. There's no natural rhythm through the day. This is a big one. So you've hid your curriculum, you've streamlined your meals, you've pulled some library books to study, and you're working on learning about something fun. Now I want you to spend like 3, 5 days and just observe your day. When are your kids the happiest? When are they tired? When are they hungry? And start to pull the reins back on the things that you did, the things that you're doing. I remember when I had 5 kids at the time, and I was in that season of, 3 littles, so we had our 3 musketeers, and I had older kids, and I had woven in nap times and rest times and independent play, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I was bored out of my mind because I had done such a great job with, sleep training and scheduling, that we spent so much time at home just doing the next thing and doing the next thing. And I'm going to tell you right now that I am so thankful that I did not quit in that season, that I stuck to the routine, because the routine was key to teaching the kids to be independent, to be able to focus on things. And it eventually spun into higher learning and academics. And it's important. So spend the time to actually look at your life and start to rein things in. If your life is really out of control, it may take a year, and that's okay. It's a year well spent. Okay, so get your routine in order. It's super, super important. Um, this one is my heart for homeschoolers, and that is that you homeschool from the inside out. If your kids grow up and they're jerks, if my kids grow up and they're jerks, that means they're unteachable, they're prideful, they're arrogant, they're rude, they're mean, and they're really hard to teach anything because they don't have fertile ground to be taught and mentored. But if you take the time when the kids are little to mentor their hearts and to focus on their character, then as they get older, you can lay academics and learning on top of that, and it's beautiful. Now, this can feel overwhelming, but it's not. Just watch your kids for a couple days. If you really want advanced observation, just take them grocery shopping with you and watch how they behave. How do they treat each other? How do they treat you? How do they treat others? And then identify a heart issue: lying, unpleasant conversations, whining, complaining, whatever the issue is, and then begin to design role playing type things that you can practice how to do things properly at home. And then this is a long term goal. You focus on their heart and character training and attitude for the rest of their life while they're at home. And then eventually you get more and more academics that you load on top. But work on your kids' hearts, because when you're hating homeschool because life is chaotic, the kids are out of control, and you're potentially distracted by all these other obligations, and you don't have time to breathe, to enjoy life, to hug on your husband, to love on your family, and to focus on the things that are the most necessary. Trust me, quadratic equations, 5-paragraph essays, and timelines have their place, but they're nowhere on the scale close to things like integrity, responsibility, diligence, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control. Those are the priorities, and that's where you're going to get the dividends in homeschool. So observe your kids and then start working on training up their heart. And then I'm going to leave you with this, and that is, do you need help? Because I am not a psychologist. I'm not even a trained professional at anything except raising kids and homeschooling and loving on people. I'm a professional people lover. I absolutely love the homeschool moms in my communities, and I love when they reach out and they're real. My emails are filled with typographical errors because I'm real, because I don't try to hide my imperfections from anybody. My latest videos are me with no makeup on and my hair in a bun and walking in the same cap around the same track. the same path as I'm just sharing my heart because I'm real and I want people to know that it's okay to be real. It's also okay to be boring. And that's what I am. I'm a boring mom because I do the same things every day. I get up, I make breakfast while my kids make breakfast, and we run through our day in the same order. And the highlights of my day are hanging out with my husband, hanging out with my kids, going for a walk in the local community, and just being available to minister to people around me. And I want you to know that if you need help with homeschooling, I'm here for you. I was able to chat with a mom today while I was walking. She was looking for very specific homeschool help oh, concerning a very specific challenge, a problem, subject, thing. And I'm like, hey, I have time. How about we chat on the phone? And so we were chatting, and I said, I have this. And she's like, well, that's not quite what I'm looking for. I'm like, that's okay. I also know this. And she's like, well, that's closer. And I said, I know what you need. I go, I know this person. And she goes, oh, that's exactly what I was looking for. And I ended the conversation basically by saying, I'm always telling homeschool moms out there specifically, if you need something, ask. I've been doing this long enough that if I don't have it, if I can't help you, I likely know someone that can. So I'd like to encourage you, if you have any questions or concerns about homeschooling, to reach out to me via email, a better way to homeschool at gmail.com. We can flush out quickly what topics you're in need of help or coaching or pushes in the right direction. And then if you need extra help or encouragement, then we can set up phone calls. We can set up Zoom calls. I can even invite you into some of the smaller communities where we do amazing, fun things, both as parents working together, planning. Like one of the new homeschool moms inside my membership group is we're going to be chatting hopefully on Friday because it's her first year at homeschooling. So we're going to talk through planning and how she can eat that elephant one bite at a time. But most of the time when I get to chat and interface with homeschool moms, it's really a conversation to remind us both that we're just flesh and blood people. And it's good to hear that we're not alone. So if you need help, reach out because this whole thing about being a homeschool mom that hates homeschool, it sounds so harsh. It really does. It sounds so harsh. But there are many homeschool moms that are watching this right now or that will watch it on replay. And this will resonate with them because they feel like they're not good enough. And I'm here to tell you that you are more than good enough. Let me pull up one thing and then I will leave with this because my battery is completely going at this point. Let me pull this up. I want to remind you as I get ready to send my youngest son is getting ready to move away for college. And let me do this. The journey of homeschooling is shorter than you think. It really goes in a blink of an eye. Let me see. So oh, Miss Bekki, you must spell it correctly or it will not pull up. I think it's worth hanging for the last couple seconds. Just a second. If you're watching this on the YouTube channel, please like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm get me spread out there so I can help more homeschool moms like you. Okay, so, and if you're on Facebook or any of the other channels, it helps if you like and comment, and it really helps if you send it people's way. And if you're on social media like Facebook, you just can type their name and it tags them. So God made you a homeschool mom or dad. So when you're listening to this, know that most of my audience is are moms, but this does fit a lot of dads out there too. So God made you a homeschool mom. God said, my kids, because remember, they're on loan. God said, my kids need to be dependable, honest, trustworthy, kind. They need to be content when they're folding laundry, going on a million errands, or picking up dog poop. They need to be able to pursue their unique talents. So I made you. God said, you see, each of my kids is unique and wonderfully made. They need to be loved and cherished. They must learn the value of cleaning up after playing with glitter. They need to have the freedom to explore, to run, to jump, to swing, to slide and hide in my creation. So I made you. God said, my kids need to feel the mud between their toes and look for shapes in the clouds, to be taught the value of life and place more value on people than things. So I made you. God said, I need my kids to be the first to volunteer and the last to leave. So I made you. God said, my kids should have the ability to chase an idea and to make it come to life. So I made you. God said, my kids should be taught to eat healthy foods, but they also need to learn to plan and cook healthy meals and then to clean up the mess. So I made you. God said, my kids should be clothed in clean clothes, but they should also know how to organize their closet, sort, wash, fold, and put away the laundry. They should straighten out their drawers, budget for their next outfit, earn enough money through hard work, and shop for the best deal with their own money. So I made you. God said my children should learn to always replace the toilet paper roll. So I made you. God said my kids should love nature, but they should also learn how to grow plants and keep my gardens beautiful. They should also learn how to start a mini business, cleaning up their neighbors' gardens. So I made you. God said my kids need to read and write, but they also need to learn the art of communication. Listening is one of life's greatest needs. They need to listen to their parents, their family, neighbors, and boss. They even need to listen to a stranger at the store. So I made you. God looks at you and asks you, are you willing, mama, to be selfless, willing to work from sunup to sundown, willing to learn right alongside my kids because I need my kids to learn things that you don't know how to do? Are you willing to look for help and encouragement along the way from me and others that I lead you toward? Are you willing to drink cold coffee, miss a shower, master the messy master the messy bun, but rock yoga pants? I don't know about you, but that's what I nodded to. That's what I signed up for, to spill out my life in a way that will bless others around me, but first my husband and then my children. My life's mission to this point has been to be joined with my husband to raise my kids up in the way they should go, so that when they leave the nest, which they do, they make a difference in this world. And mama, it's overwhelming because it is. This is not easy work. You are mixing laundry, cooking, time management, mathematics, English, history, science, art, and music all in the same bucket. And you're still expected to have time to exercise, drink enough water, and use the bathroom. This is a tall order. I want you to know you are not alone. So if you need me, you can reach me at abetterwaytohomeschool@gmail.com. I would love for you to comment, to like, and to send this on the way. Any homeschool mom that you know needs to hear this. Any and every homeschool mom that you know needs to hear this. I know because I get emails all the time. I really know because I'm talking to my younger self. I needed to hear this. And I was blessed enough to have friends that spoke these words over me. And it makes a difference. So if you need me, you know how to find me. Otherwise, have a great day. Start by simplifying and streamlining your meals, hiding all the extra laundry baskets, going to the library, choosing a weird project to focus on, and all the other things that are listed in this video in no particular order. So have a blessed day and let me know if you need anything.